Oh, you're what up though? Yeah, Mike Daly here. Yeah, so I wanted to get on here. I've had a handful of people asking me about Guatemala, specifically Volcano de Fuego. So I thought this would be a perfect opportunity for me to at least give my experience about the whole hike. I would say that before the hike, I did my own research, and what I experienced opposed to what I researched and went through were totally different things, two totally separate things. So I wish I would have had an informative video or something along the lines of what I experienced. I wish I would have known before the actual hike. So let me tell you what the fuck going on. Okay, first, for quick context, for anybody who doesn't know, Volcano de Fuego is about 10 miles, I want to say southwest of Antigua, Guatemala. It tops out at about 12,000 feet and literally means fire in Spanish, of course. And then I learned that on January 3rd, 2018, Fuego had one of its deadliest eruptions in modern Guatemalan history. Like over 200 people confirmed dead, hundreds missing. I just learned about that. So shout out to Eric Osimo 43. I'll probably put a link or something to his page. He actually put me on that video, actually put me on to a lot of the history that I didn't know before I even went. So go check his joint out. So for my tour guide, I booked with this company, Extreme Life Tours. Solid crew for sure. Man, I appreciate Luis. Luis was mad informative, super detailed with just everything that he was telling us, everything that, you know what I'm saying, that he did with us. What's funny is my whole group was all women. I was the only male in my whole group. So it was, let me think. I think it was 5 women and then me, and then Luis, who was our tour guide. I'm not sure how many years experience or how long he's been, hiking the mountain. I think somebody said like 20 years or something like that. But small dude from Guatemala. I want to say dude is probably about like 70 years old, 65 years old, something like that. But strong, just old man power. I think he was also a porter as well. Basically, if you had a backpack that you felt like was too heavy, he would just carry your backpack. So going up at the very beginning, as we started going up, I think most of the girls, maybe like 2 or 3 kept their backpack, but 2 or 3 gave Luis their bag. So Luis got like 4 bags on him, plus a propane tank and all that. So I'm saying, I'm thinking Luis was probably carrying a good, like, I'm gonna say about 125 pounds on his back. Like I said, small dude, old man power, feel me? My backpack was actually pretty heavy, and it was only like 50 pounds. Okay, so let me back a little bit. A big reason I even wanted to do this experience was so I could get an FPV drone shot of the caldera of the volcano. That was my main goal. That was the big, like, oh, that would be hard if I could not get inside, but just super close FPV, you know what I'm saying, and then play with the footage and all that. So my backpack was heavy because I had all my drone gear and cameras and all that other stuff with me. Which made it heavy, but at the end of the day, through the hike, that was kind of my motivation. Like, yo, got to make it to the top because I got all this here. I've already traveled all the way with all this gear in my backpack, so I got to make it to the top. That's just what it is. So at this point, this is where you start to get the volcano ash, dust, dirt, just all in your whole breathing. The whole time, this whole entire trip, you're only going to be breathing a little bit of oxygen, volcano ash, dust, and dirt. That's all that you're gonna be breathing. Right now, I am still sick. I think my whole sinus area is just bruised up from just being hit by rocks and dirt the whole time, right? And yeah, my whole sinus is still fucked up. You can kind of hear it in my voice. But yeah, so we're going up the mountain, this and that. I'm in the back of the truck. Luis, he's right here in front of me, going all the way up. At this point, you're really feeling kind of good, right? Because I mean, you got the adrenaline. The car ride really isn't that bad. The 4x4 ride up, you know what I'm saying? And once you jump out, you got crazy dumb views, you know what I mean? And you're just anxious to start, you know what I'm saying, making it to base camp. And they say base camp is really only like 45 minutes away. So you're only going to hike about 45 minutes, which really isn't crazy, right? So started walking the hike and it was cool. It was honestly like I just played a game of 21 or something. Like, and to be honest, so let me preference all this by saying I'm not like an unfit person. I ain't no just swole person or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? I do my thizzle. I got stamina. I run, you know what I'm saying? I work out. I'm pretty consistent. What am I, about 227, 6'3" tall. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, so I didn't feel like this was going to be hard for me going in. And that 45-minute hike, it wasn't super elevated. It wasn't anything crazy. It was elevated in the sense that we were already high up on the mountain. So I could start to feel my chest compress a little bit, but nothing crazy at all. By the time we made it to base camp, I was like, dang, this was heavy. But like I said, it's just like you just got playing a game and you just sitting back waiting for the next game to start. So we get to base camp. We chill, sit around. I'm still just, mingling, talking to people who are there with us. Extreme Tours kind of had it set up pretty dope. I guess there's different levels of packages you could have got, from just a tent, or you could have got like a private tent or a private shed or whatever. I didn't really know what I had booked, but I guess I had booked a room with 4 other girls. So it was us all in one little shed or whatever, which was cool, which is perfect. At night, it still got cold or whatever, but and then you just get to sleeping bags. And then, of course, they make you dinner and they make you food to where you at least have something in your system. So you're not just burning all this energy and, you know what I'm saying, you just out of there. So, yeah, so we posted for maybe 2 hours. Nah, I'm gonna say about an hour. So after we got to base camp, we stayed up there for about an hour. And this part is where they ask you, like, yo, do you want to go up to Fuego? Do you want to go up to Fuego, or do you want to stay at base camp at Acatenango? And you have that option to stay. All of us, of course, big reason we came was to touch the volcano. Like, we trying to go to the volcano, like as close as we can to the volcano. But mind you, where we at, we can see the volcano. It's perfect. It was, and that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of it was adrenaline, even at that point, because I'm like, damn, I'm close. This is hard. And I'm looking directly at the volcano, and it's cool. But of course, you want more. So no one really told me like this is gonna be the hardest part or super hard or anything like that. They just said, yo, the second part, we going up there. So everybody's like, yeah. So we chill, we repack our bags or whatever, and we get ready to go out of base camp up to Fuego. All right, so at this point, this is where, when we got to the bottom of Fuego, I think this is where everything kind of changed for me. You realize how dangerous this shit really is, B. Like, bruh, you realize that you are already in high elevation. You can't breathe, but you are out of breath, so you're breathing in and out really hard. But you can't really. You can breathe, but you can't breathe. It's just, it is what it is. And when you look up from the bottom of it, all you see is just sky. So it's just clouds. So you so as you're looking from the bottom, looking up, It's just clouds. So, but you know that you have to go past the clouds up on this mountain. So it's about a 2-3 hour hike. And I don't even want to say that it's like, so it's not a 90-degree angle, of course. And it's not a 45-degree angle. I want to say that this incline on this mountain, on this volcano, was about a good 65. Like, think of a 65 angle all the way up for about 2-3 hours was what it was with, and you can barely breathe. And mind you, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, bro, this was all optional. You decided to do this. Like, why? Why? You know what I'm saying? So why? Like, bro, why? Why the fuck did I come out here? Why? Like, why? For what reason did I just have to come out here and do this whole fuego? I could have just stayed. I could have just stayed over in Santiago. Why? What was the point? Like I said, I didn't know I needed a challenge. I was just trying to kick it. I was just trying to drink some, you know what I'm saying, some Lalo and hang out and see a volcano and get close to it at the same time, not knowing what it actually took. Like, you really have to earn to see the volcano up close. But on top of that, I had no option at that point. At that moment, at that point, you can't turn around. There's nothing you can do. And see, this is where shit get fucked up because you can't go nowhere. You can't do nothing. There's nothing you can do but go forward. And it really fucks with your mental. It really does. For me, and like I said, this was my experience. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I know everybody who went through it to some capacity, but I'm just being candid about where my head was throughout this whole situation, right? Yeah, so going all the way up was difficult. I feel like I'm not even over exaggerating. I was out of there. And the thoughts that go through your head is, like I said, it's like, nigga, what the fuck is you doing, bro? Like, why? Like, how? And just to come see this volcano was wild, for sure, for sure. And everybody who was with me, like I said, we're all going through the same thing. You could tell everybody was going through their own mental battle. Just so yeah, finally made it close to the top, just close. We'll say maybe about 50 feet away from the top. But when I say the top, it's the summit, but the summit still goes. It does this, so you get to the top, and I'm like right here. But then there's this, and then it does all this, and then the volcano is up. So you still maybe a half a mile, nah, not even that, maybe like a fourth of a mile away from the actual volcano. But once you get up there, you're in an area where the wind is just blowing. It's like hurricane force winds, literally. And you feel like you will blow off that mountain. That plus turning back around and seeing how high you actually are, because you can see, you can see Antigua, you can see just all the little cities with their little lights and everything on, and you're very high up. And it's just you, as in, like, think of like an ant on top of a tall skyscraper. Like I said, I'm not a fan of heights. I'll do it, but I still have a little fear of heights, right? Look, let me just keep it a bean. I was frustrated. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I was mad because I was even there. Like, bro, why are you even here? Like, why? Like I said, this was a challenge that I didn't need. I didn't need this challenge. I didn't want this challenge. It just kind of just happened, and I just had to keep going while I was there, right? But just the fact that I accomplished that much at that time, when my whole mental was telling me, like, no, like, your bodies are, like, your leg doesn't work no more. You can't go up higher. And I ended up getting up there and just being excited about that. You know what I'm saying? You kind of catch emotions a little bit. It's cold, but you don't really feel the cold. It's below freezing, but you don't necessarily feel it all because you just excited off of adrenaline, endorphins, and all that. So anyway, we post up there for about maybe about 30 minutes, and then that's when it kind of, and watch the eruption a couple times. I could have got closer and watched it. Well, at that point, that's when it dawned on me, like, yo, this was dope, cool, accomplished, but you got to get back. You got to get back. So it's crazy because all that frustration and pissed offness and, you know what I'm saying, and doubting of myself was not even the beginning of how bad this shit was, yo. Like that was kind of like the beginning, but I didn't even know it was the beginning. So at that point, we get ready to go down, and like I said, it's a 45. No, I didn't say 45. 60 degree slant, and now you're going down. But another thing that I forgot to say is the rocks and everything is real. It's not solid. Like even when you put your stake down, it goes through the ground if you hit it hard enough. So everything is moving, and it's a bunch of boulders. So every step that you make, you really have to focus on each single step. And it's nighttime, so all you got is a little headlamp and all that. But like it's dark. If you misstep one time, yeah, you're gonna fall, and you probably gonna tumble. So you really have to focus on every single footstep down. And when I say every single footstep, I'm talking like 5,000 steps. You're going to focus on 5,000 plus steps all the way down. So it took us maybe about, I don't know, maybe another 2 hours, 2.5 hours to come all the way down. But on the way down, people are crying. I can hear people crying. People are falling. Yeah, it was a lot, B. And I didn't really get elevation sickness, or maybe if I did, I don't know, because I was just, my whole throat and sinus was just out of there, and that was kind of only thing I felt. But my mental was just so focused on getting back. And mind you, you're coming down. So when you're coming down on a mountain, yeah, you got to focus, cool, but it's not going up. So then we get to the bottom of Fuego, and it got worse. And it gets worse from there, bruh. All right, so at that point, all right, so you're at the bottom of Fuego. So now you got to go back up Acatenango to get to your base camp. And that probably took me another like about 3 hours. And I say that because what I would do is I would take like 5 steps, and then I would sit back down or find a rock or try to find somewhere to post up on for 5 to 10 minutes. And I would even just turn my light off and then just try to like rest, even if I can fall asleep, take a nap or something. But I go back to the mental aspect of it. My body was done. Like I was past, like I had no energy in my tank. I've been had no energy in my tank before I even got to the volcano, and now I'm on like round 5 of still trying to push whatever I had. It's like 2 a.m. in the morning, pitch dark. Just me and outside. And like I said, there's nobody to really save you. No one's gonna pull up and just like pick you up and just take you, because everybody's kind of going through the same thing. Yeah, but, and like I said, kudos to my group. It was all females and me, and I was the very last one. I think I was the very last one who made it to base. Halfway coming back, I had to give Luis my backpack, and he went on and made it back to base and everything. Yeah, and I mean, at that moment, that's really where everything came full circle. In that moment, I learned something real. Something that I feel like I've always known. Just having to experience it You know what I'm saying? Like full on, wholeheartedly, just raw. Like when your body says it's done, it's not done. It's all mental. You got more. You got more. For sure, for sure. When your mind says that it's impossible, whatever the fuck it is, it's not impossible. Your perception is making you feel as if it's impossible. And you're telling yourself it's impossible. But when you're in a situation where there is no option, then what's impossible? Feel me? Like what's impossible if there is no option? In my situation, there was no option to be saved. I had to get to point B, point A to B. In my head, it's impossible because I have no energy. I have nothing like left in me, right? And when I look, my perception as I'm looking, it's miles away where I have to get to. Feel me? But I think all of us, like I said, the women who was with me, so I make it back to base probably about 3 a.m. in the morning. There's a couple people still up. Everybody's, you know what I'm saying, just tired out of it. And like I said, the volcano looks dope at nighttime. So you can still really just see everything from the base camp. And I really think to myself, like, bro, why did I go fuego when I could have just stood here and kicked it the whole time and seen, you know what I'm saying, and had a good, but anyways, that's why I say fuego's optional. You know what I'm saying? You could really just chill on Santiago and, you know what I'm saying, and it'd be cool. So then the next morning, sunrise. Woke up for sunrise, walked outside, and keep it a bean, man. Another tier. You know what I'm saying? It's just off of the emotion of what the fuck you just went through when you didn't plan to go through that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like a Lifetime movie. You didn't plan on doing this. You didn't plan on it being as strenuous as it was. And it was. And you made it. You know what I'm saying? And everything looks so fucking beautiful and picturesque. And bruh, I mean, overnight, the ground is rumbling while you're sleeping. You know what I'm saying? The ground's rumbling while you're sleeping. The volcano's going up. So I really didn't sleep. You really don't sleep at all. And even when I went to go use the restroom, you know what I'm saying, found a tree, used the restroom, you could see the volcano just erupting, which was dope. You know what I'm saying? But then, yeah, waking up and seeing the sunrise and all that, everything does hit you. Well, for me, like I said, it hit me in the fact that, like I said, I accomplished something that I didn't think I was going to be able to do. Fucking picturesque, just everything. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, I'm sick as shit. I couldn't really breathe because my whole shit was all messed up. My head was still like, nigga, you stupid. But the other part of me was like, bro, that's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? You doubted yourself a good chunk of this whole mission that you were on yesterday night or early this morning, but you made it. You made it to the end because you had no option but to make it to the end. But at one point you thought it was impossible. So it's like you actually live. In my head, I'm thinking I actually experienced my own perception tricking me in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So just knowing that and going through that kind of just made me be like, yeah, that was hard. And that's why I give it a 10 out of 10 experience. I for sure give it a 10 out of 10 experience because it's an experience. It's an experience. But like I said, would I do it again? Nah. I got no business being out on that mountain ever again. Ever again. I mean, nah. No, I'm good. So, I mean, I guess like Fuego, that's a for sure no. Santiago, I mean, it was just, that's not really even really a super hike. it's more of you just get into the destination to where you get to base camp and all that, which was kind of cool. So, man, depends. Feel me? But Fuego, nah, I wouldn't do it again. But I would not recommend it for anybody else to do it as well, unless you just like doing hard shit. So yeah, that was my experience.